If you are like most Americans and very hesitant to eat out because of the costs, well, we got some good news because Olive Garden has just announced something, and what they announced is what we have actually seen at many fast food restaurants. And I've been saying this for several months that this is actually a good thing, but this is coming because the American people don't have money, which is a bad thing. Look at this. It says Olive Garden tests smaller portion menu at reduced prices nationwide with encouraging results. The big news out of all this is they are testing smaller portion sizes at reduced prices. That's the key. And I've been saying this for several months, and many people have said that yes, this is a terrible thing, but it's good news. The terrible thing is that the American people are running out of money. We don't have money to go eat out. And instead of these restaurants deciding, you know what, the American people, our consumers, don't have any money, so we're just going to fold up shop and go out of business. No, they're not doing that. What they're doing instead is they are lowering prices, but finding a way to lower prices that works. And the best way that they found to lower prices is to make a smaller menu. Look at this right here. It says, Darden Restaurants is experimenting with smaller servings at Olive Garden, testing out a lighter portion entree menu across 40% of its locations. It says right here, the new menu section, which offers smaller portions and a reduced price on 7 of its existing entrees, is an additional option for guests and is not replacing anything. That is very interesting because we have seen in the past where fast food restaurants, for instance, McDonald's, they went from a larger Big Mac to a smaller one, yet prices continue to go up. What we are seeing Olive Garden do is they are essentially giving you the same option for a full-size meal at the full rate. Or, if you're not as hungry, you can opt for a smaller portion size at a smaller rate. Essentially, it's a kid's meal. That's essentially what this is. It is a kid's meal. Now, I want to show you this though. The reduced portion section includes Olive Garden's chicken parmigiana, eggplant parmigiana, lasagna classico, 5 cheese ziti al forno, cheese ravioli, spaghetti and meatballs, and fettuccine alfredo. Those are their options at this time. Well, a lot of those options, you do not see them on the kids menu. That's the difference. Now we're starting to see these restaurants pull back because they realize that the American people don't have the money and they don't have the hunger. Listen to this. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he was saying that every time him and his family go into a restaurant, they are taking out half of the food because they don't eat it. So it's him, it's his wife. They have I think it's a 17-year-old daughter and 2 other children. Anyway, so for him himself, he's on an appetite suppressant. His wife takes something which is pretty much an appetite suppressant, and his daughter, 17-year-old girls, they're not gonna eat a lot. Okay, so I was talking to him about it, and he was saying that he tries to order smaller portions, or the last time he went to a restaurant, him and his wife shared a meal, but because they were sharing a meal, that they had some type of surcharge or something associated with it because she didn't order her own food. So essentially she was taking up space and they charged him a little bit extra. Anyway, but listen to this. More than 15% of all Americans take some kind of appetite suppressant to control hunger. So for all these restaurants that offer these massive portion sizes, we don't need them anymore. We don't want them anymore. The United States, we have a huge issue with obesity. A lot of it has to do with our portion sizes, what we consume. That's a big issue. Okay, some of it, yes, is restrictive. You can't really get out there and exercise for whatever reason, but most of it is what we consume, what they put in our food here in the United States. That's a big issue. I want to keep reading this to you though. Look at this right here. It says, if I can get it to work, it says right here, the lighter portion entrees are priced between $12.99 and $13.99, though they vary by market. It says the initial response from customers has been encouraging, with customers rating the chain 15% higher on affordability. That is huge. Because what the American people are looking for right now is they're looking for a way to be able to afford the things they love. Whether it's Olive Garden, whether it's Red Lobster, whether it's Applebee's, it doesn't matter what it is. But this is why this is good news. What Olive Garden just did, and by really putting it out there that yes, they're making smaller portions, but they're making smaller portions and adjusting the price accordingly, that's great. That's really good news. Now here's the other thing I just want to point out. If you can go to a restaurant, and many of these restaurants, Olive Garden included, if you go and buy a full meal, but yet you split that into two, that would be a better option. The only bad thing about this is you gotta get the same thing. So if you and your spouse go and get the fettuccine Alfredo, maybe you add some chicken to it, or you add some shrimp or something to it, right? Add a little bit to it, but split it. You have that, you have some breadsticks, you have a salad, right? You can get in and out of there, and it's not that expensive. That's the difference. Okay, but the reason why I think this is interesting, and why I wanted to point this out, that they're testing these smaller portion sizes with encouraging results, is because I think more restaurants are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to follow suit. They're going to make sure that Olive Garden isn't taking their market share. Olive Garden isn't taking all their customers. They want to make sure that they are going to be in this as well. So just wait. My guess is we're going to hear more updates on other restaurants doing the exact same thing. I've already seen it in certain bars where, okay, you still want to go out there and drink with your friends and go and kind of socialize and maybe play pool or dance or whatever. You're starting to see bars have their prices aren't going up. They're actually coming down a little bit. And while they're coming down, their drink sizes are getting smaller. Now, this is only for things that are coming out of the tap. But, and again, I don't think we're going to see this when it comes to bottles. But you never know. Okay? Just be aware that restaurants are starting to do this. They're starting to see the signs and the writing on the wall that people don't have the money. If they don't have the money, they can't just tell them, hey, you got to show up. If you don't come and buy from us, we're going to go out of business. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. There's nothing you can do about it. But restaurants, they can change. That's exactly what they're doing. So, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is a good thing? That Olive Garden is now changing their portion sizes to make them smaller and reflecting the price accordingly? Or do you think this is a bad thing and just more signs of troubled times? Let me know down in the comment section below.